They called themselves the children of God. To outsiders, they preached love, faith, and spiritual enlightenment. To insiders, they were something else entirely, a cult rooted in manipulation, exploitation, and something far more disturbing. This is not a horror story. This is real. Founded in 1968 by David Berg, an apocalyptic preacher who believed the end of the world was near, the group grew rapidly in the shadows of the hippie movement. He promised lost youth a sense of purpose, a family, and unconditional love. But like most cults, what began as spiritual unity quickly spiraled into psychological and sexual control. Berg, referred to as Father David or Moses David, positioned himself as God's prophet. His word wasn't just law, it was scripture. Under his leadership, traditional family structures were torn apart. Children were raised communally. Individual identity was replaced with blind devotion. And in secret, the rules changed. By the 1970s, Berg introduced what he called flirty fishing, encouraging female members to seduce men into joining the cult through sex. Thousands of women were used as bait under the illusion of spreading divine love. The lines between spirituality and abuse blurred. And soon, children were no longer safe. Former members have testified that child sexual abuse wasn't just tolerated, it was normalized, documented, systematic. Children were exposed to sexual content, coerced into acts they couldn't understand, and told it was all God's love. Some of these survivors are still alive today, and their stories are harrowing. But what makes the children of God even more terrifying is how far their reach extended. Famous actors, musicians, and celebrities were loosely connected, born into the cult, raised within his ideology, or quietly escaped. Joaquin Phoenix, Rose McGowan both grew up in the movement. Their families eventually fled, but others never got the chance. Despite widespread reports of abuse, the cult wasn't stopped. It simply evolved. In the 1990s, they changed their name to the Family International and attempted to rebrand. They scrubbed the internet, rewrote their history, and distanced themselves from Berg's writings. But trauma doesn't rebrand. It lingers. Even after Berg's death in 1994, his influence didn't fade. His teachings were archived, protected, and still studied within the group for years. Many members today will tell you the past is behind them, that the abuses were exaggerated, or that the group has moved on, but hundreds of victims say otherwise. Legal cases were buried. Law enforcement was often one step too late. And the cult's international structure allowed it to disappear and resurface elsewhere. So, what are they now? Officially, they claim to be a peaceful Christian community focused on humanitarian work. But unofficially, former insiders say they've merely gone underground, smaller, quieter, but no less dangerous. Because when a group believes it speaks for God, anything becomes justifiable. Anything. The Children of God is not just a story of a cult. It's a warning about blind faith, unchecked power, and how evil can disguise itself as love. We often imagine monsters as loud and obvious, but the most dangerous ones speak softly, smile often, and call you family. So the next time someone offers you unconditional love with conditions, ask what they mean by love and who pays the price for it. So the next time someone offers you unconditional love with conditions, ask what they mean by love and who pays the price for it. Do you think cults like this can truly disappear? Or do they just change their name and continue in silence? Let me know what you think in the comments. And if you want to explore more dark truths, hidden histories, and disturbing realities the world tries to forget, subscribe to Deadly Archives. Because some stories aren't meant to stay buried.